You are one of us. Your passion is the world of mountain biking, from enduro to gravel races and everything in between. This is Insider MTB, the podcast that takes you behind the handlebars, into the dirt, and behind the scenes of the mountain biking world. And now your host, Austin White.
There's the intro. Welcome, you guys. I'm Austin White, your host. Joined today with Ty Kady of the U.S. Cup. Was that the best way to intro you? Ex-athlete, still athlete.
Never an athlete. But
No.
yeah.
Come on. It's some. What do we want to call? What's the title? U.S. Cup.
Yeah, just call it U.S. Cup.
U.S. Cup guy.
Yeah, U.S. Cup director.
Driving UCI and USA Cycling's best mountain bike chances right here in the country of the U.S.
Yep, there you go.
There we go. Cool, man. This is going to be a little bit of a special episode. We're just going to kind of short and sweet. We want to just talk about the U.S. Cup. That this is something new that we do here. Not unfamiliar, but new for this channel is that we'll be having a live stream of some races this year and events. Ty here has, I would consider, the largest mountain bike XC race in America.
Yeah,
that's fair to say. Yeah.
It's probably safe to say for the cross-country specific realm, short track, yeah, I would say that's
the most prestigious as well. Like, you know, the people that have came to this are heavy hitters for years.
For years. Yeah, no, I like to look at us as like we're a tune-up for people like Blevins and Amos and Haley to get kind of like some early season fitness, test their bikes before they head over to Europe. And then I think we're on the radar of the top juniors really looking to go against the best kids in the country. So yeah, I
mean, if it wasn't for your series last year, we wouldn't have got as many points for the US Olympics, correct? To get
that's
in?
true. I mean,
I'm not saying you're
Chris,
the one.
Chris
Yeah.
and Riley, Chris and Riley earned that, but yeah, we definitely made the pivot when USAC requested to split that up. And I think now we should call it the Blevins Amos rule. Now they won't even let racer do U23 and elite on the same weekend or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or so, I don't know. I'm calling it the Blevins Amos rule because we split that up. So it used to be that they couldn't race on the same day. Now it's almost like the same week. I'll have to look at the rule because Riley double dipped, right? He went and won U23, then he wins up in an elite, and that pretty much springboarded those guys. And then they went and finished.
Yeah, obviously they crushed it overseas and everything like that.
They finished it off themselves, but yeah, we were definitely a big part of that. So
yeah,
for me, the U.S. Cup, the only reason I want it to exist is early season. We like the top riders to come over and like you say, work on their fitness and skills before going to Europe. And then we're also trying to put us on the map that, hey, if you want to be the best 15, 16, 17, 18 junior, this is the place to go. Like, this is where the fields are the largest and I think the competition is the best. I think you see people like Nicholas Konecki coming out of juniors, dominating our race, dominating nationals, signs over in Europe. So Konecki's actually going to be racing with us in the elite. So we like to see that talent kind of come through and stuff like that. So
it is. So I only have, when did we do our first live stream? 4 years ago in Fayetteville?
Yeah, time's flying. I think 21 was first year after COVID. And then I think you came in with Flow, right? Or something.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. But whatever X amount of years ago, and this is just an example for the people that maybe not as much knowing XC or just kind of know some names and just the history of US Cup is Amos U23. Remember him ripping over the berm and nailing the tree and crashing? I don't know if you remember that, but that was on the stream. And I remember
that was at Fayetteville.
That was at Fayetteville.
I know he had that big endo, but I thought he saved it.
Oh, he did save it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. He had that big endo, saved it, went over the berm, right?
Dude, he almost died because that was like high speed into that that right hander. Had he gone over that berm, that would have been ugly. But yeah, he rode that front wheel.
He did. Maybe if I could find it, or it's probably on Flo's thing on YouTube. But
yeah, it was wild.
Show that that right there, Amos at that time, I was like, who is this kid? And now it's kind of crazy if he's in the same, not, I don't know, not the same. His is a household name. If you're an XC, you kind of know that name from
So you
America
know him
with
now.
the Blevins, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on our radar for a while because he's come up through the juniors and stuff. But he's obviously stamped as authority. I think
Yeah.
he, what, eighth in Paris, first year Olympic out of the U23. Almost won everything on the World Cups last year. I think he's
Yeah. How
current.
many did he win? He only the ones he did not race,
Yeah,
right? I think
dude, he was dominant, and I
both days.
yeah, I don't want to bet against him. So
Yeah.
I think
But at that time, just to show people that people are like, he was racing the U.S. Cup. To me, I was like, I don't really know who this kid is. He got Shrek ride,
right.
and he's now where he is, right? And that was the same probably with Blevins, probably with Keegan Swinson. Maybe
Yep.
give us a little bit of a rundown of how the difference of people that have come through the U.S. Cup, even before you were, it was fully your baby,
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know much before we arrived in '09 when we kind of took over the old National Mountain Bike Series, right? Was failing. And that was the second reincarnation of the original Norba. And then Show Air stepped in and funded that. And so, I mean, years ago at the Boston Rebellion, and I can't even remember the year, 2018, maybe 2019, Chris and Kate were just still kind of unknowns, and they went ahead and wrapped up what was the Pro XCT back then in Boston. So
yeah.
they've all come through. Keegan's come through. Finsterwald's been in. Sophia Villafañe's been through. I mean, almost everyone. And then, obviously Keegan and Villafañe and them all kind of went to gravel because it's so hard on that sharp end of the field in the UCI elites. There's kind of the have and have nots. And I think Keegan finally said, yeah, what am I doing? And then look, he went and created a name for himself and dominated. But yeah, we've had Keegan, we've had Kabush, we've had Plaxton, we've had Todd Wells. I mean, if you went back in time, just, 15 years, I mean, some of the greats of North American cycling have come through the U.S. Cup. So we're totally stoked, and then hopefully the next generation's coming through and using us as well.
Right. Yeah. And now it's obviously expanded to the series more. And remember the COVID years, it was just kind of one and couldn't really race much in California. Now we got some of that back. And now it looks like it's expanded, but 4 races this year. You guys kind of did something last year too.
Yeah, we got 6. We were 4. Soho came on, and Soho's been, kind of Park City area has been on the overall calendar, but they kind of wanted to get on, so series final. And then I had been working on Washougal for quite a while. A lot of the kids were telling me, hey, there's actually some cool trails up there. And again, like, I hadn't been there since 2001 when I was racing motocross nationals, but quickly got on the phone with the kind of local promoter up there. And then Huffman still runs it. I think he's passing it on to his son, but Ryan Huffman, who kind of raced in my era, his dad, the Huffmans kind of owned it. And then I think Ryan's done, but man, Ryan was all about it. And they're on a pathway to try to maybe make that a UCI round because he's got all the equipment. He's got all the private land. He can build us whatever we need. And so that's something that may, the next year or two pan out. It's really up to them and see how they want to take it. So I added them. They'll be round number, I think, 4 or something before Missoula and some stuff. So yeah, we're up to 6 rounds, but I probably want to keep it at 6 rounds. You start going 7, 8, 9 rounds. No one has the money to get to everything.
Yeah.
And then America is so big. It's not like driving from Belgium to the Netherlands over to
8 hours to everything over there, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so between the size of America, the U.S., and then just the cost, it's I think 6 is the sweet spot. So we'll kind of see what the turnout is from the racers and the teams, and then we'll just kind of look at it each year and said, hey, is this series something that we want to put our money and energy into? But and Orange Seal came on big, right? Because if you look at the current, what you would call USA Cycling's national series, they only track elites, and then they don't even offer a prize purse. So you supposedly got a governing body saying they're doing it, and they don't even offer money, right? So
yeah.
me, Inglewood, Soho, we kind of scraped up some money, and then John over at Orange Seal's just been just pivotal to bring even get Vail back as a single race. And John's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to kick in for the prize money too. And so 15 grand's not a lot, 10,000 elites. And then we're doing a 5,000 for the U23s, but I mean, it's better than what the governing body of this country can even offer. So
Yeah.
it's modest, but we're heading in the right direction, and we're trying to get people on board. And the more people we can get on board with this thing, we can grow it. So that's going to come through, attendance, and it's going to come through sponsors. So let's see. It's obviously a tough economy.
Yeah.
Bicycle industry is just totally upside down right now. So we'll just weather the storm and keep our productions just, simple and customer focused, and provide a good event. And then if things can grow in the next few years, let's see what we can do.
So maybe a side subject,
Yeah.
but I don't want it to go too deep, but the 5 years ago, most of the rounds were at public parks or right. Now we've seen the change to where it's private property type of thing, and legality wise, like, do you think that the sport, and this has also maybe been a little bit of an issue in the sport, I mean, you've talked about this, is our courses in America suck. Like,
at the high level, it's like racing Star West, and then you roll into Anaheim Stadium. And
yeah.
Star West is super jumpy.
It'd be Paul in it. Oh, Paul is actually pretty. Yeah,
like,
but yeah.
What I mean, like, and then you go ride a real World Cup. You go ride St. Anne. You go ride, Nove Mesto. Dude, it'll blow your mind. So we're trying to do that,
but you could never do that at public parks.
When we were at Benelli,
yeah,
that's a county park, and so they won't let you do anything because you got to tear it all out.
Yeah,
Fontana, it was still public, but that was kind of more old school, and we never really built features, but that was a stop for a while. Yeah, you got to go private, right? Because you got to control it. And you'll see Vail Lake, like, it's super cool. Eric Carter's just bent over backwards for us, and it's great because Eric was a racer, so he knows what I'm looking for. And then I'll just come back in a few weeks, and he's just done some amazing stuff. But if you look at Vail 2018 and 19 when we were there to where we're at in 2025, it's unbelievable, the improvements.
But we need courses like this.
No, we absolutely do. And so the fact that the KOA and that Clint Bell, the owner, says, Eric, go ahead, man, carte blanche to do that, you got to have a private facility. And so I'm going to make a statement. I think, for me at least, and when I ride it, I think Vail is the best course on the circuit in the U.S. right now, to be honest. I really like. It's got so many good features. It's got tons of elevation, like longer sustained climbs, just really tricky off camber raw kind of lines instead of just everything manufactured. And then it's got the rock drops. It's got the over unders. It's got some BMX style. Like, it's just a rad blend of everything, in my opinion. So I'm really excited. I hope everyone's stoked on it.
But I mean, do you see the current this maybe helps American XC racers that want a future and going over to the UCI, if that's where it is, but having private properties like a Washougal, Vail, and then we can actually build these courses to a proper level to help them. That's the future.
That's the plan, and that's the future, and that's what I'm trying to get behind. Yeah, you nailed it, because you can't go into these public spaces anymore. You're
not building even, which I didn't even think the Olympics one was kind of an easier course. You're not building that in Benelli, for the public to ride. Maybe when they come and do the Olympics, but if that happens, but
especially in California, it's tied up in red tape and litigation and politics. You're not doing nothing out here. The folks in Arkansas, like, that's public land, like and stuff. Like,
but I would call Fayetteville a completely different piece of the chunk of the United States in there, right? Like the way that
it's almost like another planet on what they can get away with. And then you obviously have that Walton ecosystem that's got massive amounts of money, and then you need the money to build it, right? So you got, and so the Arkansas group, like, they're in their own little bubble, and they're awesome. I mean, they're really elevating the sport too.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and we're trying to do our part out here. And so I think eventually, if we can keep this thing on the rails, we're bringing up the level of the UCI and stuff, and that should help our kids coming through the system, right? That are ride proper courses before they go to Europe. Otherwise, they go over there and they're way in over their head, and they get their doors blown off, and then they're done. So.
I think and it kind of weird, but when was it 20? No, it was 2021, I think, or 2020 maybe. Fayetteville, Keegan, and then obviously he went over and did the UCIs after that with Blevins. No, Blevins didn't go. Did Blevins go? I don't think Blevins was a U23 at that moment, I think.
No, he was racing elite. Yeah.
Oh, he was. I can't remember if he went, but I just I had thought, and that was more me getting serious into cycling. I was like, oh, Keegan is the guy. And then he went over there, and it was rough on him. Like he
battled Blevins, right, at the first Oz Trails race. But somehow Chris just was able to execute over in Europe quite a bit, and Keegan just never. I mean, Keegan's.
But I think those courses is what I was getting at, and I feel like Keegan might have came up in the, the older XC and before they went to the 2.5 mile rule. Like I feel like that's why he does so good at gravel. I don't, it's or am I?
I think he's a little bit older, but when I ran the Show Air Cannondale team,
he was okay.
Yeah, he was kind of on that as a junior, if I remember correctly. So I've known Keegan for years.
Saying that he's not technically on it, but he kind of seemed like he was winning XC races in America or doing very well XC when it wasn't gnarlier courses that we need to go over there, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, he's made a great career in this gravel.
Oh, thing. Yeah.
I mean, I wish he was back in XC, to be honest. I mean,
I do kind of wonder, like, he's got some pretty good confidence right now. He is a fucking weapon. Like, sorry.
Dude, he's really good, but he knows where his bread's buttered, and he knows his focus, and he's got to put in those long miles for outbound and stuff. But I mean, he'd still be competitive here. That's the thing. In America, he could be competitive because what do we have? 40 elite men, and you got Riley, you got Chris, Keegan, you got some U23s coming up like Konecki and stuff like that. You may get Carter Woods every now and then from Canada, but yeah, he'd be fine. But you go to Europe, dude, and then it's like 50 deep. They're all gnarly. And so whatever happened, he just never quite bridged it. And he probably just got to the point like, hey, why am I beating my brains in? Because at that point, only one man, we could only qualify one man for the Olympics. So what Chris and Riley did.
It was a war.
Yeah, to get 2 men to the Olympics is, I don't know that we've done that ever in the past. I think we've always.
Was this like our first time then?
I feel like it. You have to fact check me. Now the women have always been strong.
I know we've had some
the maximum
killer rippers. Yeah,
the first year that the boys came through, and so. It's just different, and some people's motors built different, mindsets built different for World Cup racing versus, other forms of cycling. So
totally. Yeah. All right, let's get into a little bit of the race. For anyone that is going to be watching our live stream, which I just want to go on the record, we're not doing a Red Bull production level here. We're just doing something to look like a lot of conversation last year was America needs more support in keeping Blevins and our top riders over here and great coverage. And I would say that Lifetime did some pretty great coverage last year. And, something me and Ty have always talked about, and we've done it in the past as a live stream. And it's tough. Like, I'll go on the record as it's like, I've lost my ass doing this thing before, and I'm going to lose my ass at this one. I would love to roll in there and bring all my equipment, all my crew, everyone out there, and like, let's set the world on fire. Like we have the room for growth, but we just want to make for sure that there's some coverage. And that's our goal with this, have some great live streams and everything like that. So yeah, like we're going to be there. We're going to have Friday will be on the live stream, and it looks like we start at like 9 a.m. ish is the first race.
Probably going to have some qualifiers. If there's over 75 juniors, which start list looks like it's already there, we're going to start early in the morning with some qualifiers, roll into some main events kind of midday and stuff like that, and then finish with our amateur group kind of afternoon, evening.
Yeah. And so for everyone, when you want to come watch this, is we're not just going to only cover the pros. I feel like there's some pretty big rippers out here, that will be down in these younger categories, and they deserve some coverage too. And we're there, and hey, you know what? Let's just light some money on fire. So, but yeah,
I mean, the juniors, I think, are really exciting racing too. And to be honest, they're the backbone right now.
yeah,
The master fields are kind of thin on cross country, and these 15, 16s are 80 deep. We had a 17, 18 field of 144 out in Fayetteville. And so you've got the obviously Bear Development's probably at the top of that list with Julia, but you've got We Development, Donovan Racing, you've got Reno Devo. I mean, you got just tons of these junior teams that are the backbone of the sports. And quite honestly, they're doing a lot of the heavy lifting, because those are where the Chris Blevins and the Kates and the Sevilias and Haleys are probably going to come from. As they transition through. So we're big fans of the junior development teams for supporting us, and we try to give them the best racing. And so I think having a live stream for them is valuable. It gets their name out there, let sponsors get some extra value. But yeah, I've already been priming people like, we get it. You're probably going to hit us on the comments, but they still don't have a clue. And then they yelled at us when we charged $4.99 2 years ago just to try to cover costs. And it's
we're just over here, we're doing the Lord's work,
we're lighting money on fire. So
yeah, literally, like, I bet we will get some issues this weekend, but hopefully people understand we're just trying to. I love the sport, you love the sport,
yeah.
That we're just trying to get some cool stuff out there of everyone, and I want to do it of everyone. I think everyone deserves great coverage. I've always believed that. I've always sold that to Flow. I've always sold that whenever we've done anything, when me and you've done a project and we charge for it. But yeah, so Thursday, I'm sorry, Friday, we'll basically have a lot of the junior men and women, but our short track elite men and women are going down on that day as well. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And that should be pretty fun to watch. I'm hoping that'll be fun to watch, right?
Yeah, no, that's a good course. It's kind of punchy and stuff like that. It's not like super flat where you can just sit on. So there's an element of fitness and a little bit of tech too with some of those turns versus like a 4-corner crit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be like a ripping short track and stuff like that. And then, like you say, Saturday's XAO main event.
It's great. Yeah, I remember what was it? Whatever at Fayetteville. It was rough for people to wanted to take a day off, or what in the past wasn't it? And now look at us, we're back to back is just the standard for short track to XCO, right? Like,
well, yeah, we used to be Friday, Sunday for them to give them that day. But then when the World Cup changed, I think they go back to back. We did the same, because then again, we want to mimic what they're going to see. So it's like, hey, you got to figure out your recovery time. You got to figure out how much energy you're going to put into this short track and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's why we went ahead and moved it and then put amateurs on Sunday. So
yeah. I mean, so look, we got 2 bangers of a day of coverage of some of the fastest people in North America and even outside of North America coming out here to race. All live. Yeah.
You got Blevins, Amos, and Blanc are 3 Olympians. Jen Jackson's in on her new Orbea Fox Factory, Olympian national champion, swept it last year, so she was on fire. So I mean, you're looking at what, 4 Olympians out in Temecula? That's pretty good.
Yeah, and look, you can anyone can come out and watch too, but we also will have it on the live stream. I mean, most of the people.
Yeah. I made a mistake and said it was free to watch. Technically, you got to pay your $10 to get into the park. But once you're in,
so it's cheaper to watch the live stream,
It is cheaper this year to watch the live stream. But hey, you can come up and line up on the fences, and you can come yell and scream for
bring your cowbells, bring whatever your noisemaker is. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that can lead us into our next. I mean, there'll be Wi-Fi for sale, not for free.
Wait till that. There's a dead zone out there, and then you're gonna get just hammered for trying to.
Oh, I know. I'm sure I'm gonna get yelled at for that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Sunday is basically just all amateurs.
All USAC amateurs. Yep. From our lower juniors, which is 13, 14, 15, 16. We even have 17, 18. It's just non-UCI. And so I know a lot of kids out there get confused, especially the ones trying to make it out of NICA. And then they look at that $150 UCI license. They look at the $150 fee. And I try to tell a lot of these parents, hey, unless you're at the sharp end of the field and have years of experience, you're going to have probably more fun and save money by racing with us on Sunday, because if your kid starts in 90th and they fall behind that 80% rule, they're getting pulled. So
Yeah.
you might spend a lot of money to watch your child get pulled in 2-3 laps because they're just not quite there. And that's something I think that the governing body and stuff could do a better like messaging with these parents and kind of letting them know like, hey, there is an option and stuff for junior kids, even 17, 18, and that is non-UCI. So Saturday is all our amateurs and stuff as well. So
it's interesting to me a little bit of seeing how many people actually I've noticed that don't know the 80% rule, which seem like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I've seen you get ripped apart for it when it's not you who made the rule, right?
I always get the complaints, and it's just one of those little rules that, right, it makes sense at the World Cup level.
Yeah, because how could you go into single track stuck behind someone and you're in a battle for the lead?
Right, you don't want to hold up Koretsky or Nino or Blevins and all those guys. Also, you got the camera time and all that. But the Americans don't quite know, especially these younger junior parents that are more kind of high school or school based. And so, yeah, you spend a lot of money. You've been talked into running the UCI, and then your kid gets pulled in 3 laps because, hey, they showed up with no UCI ranking. They started in the back. The top kids are like super gnarly. And then all of a sudden the officials are just yanking you. And yeah, I could see where they're upset. It's just that it was a lack of communication, but it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's not the U.S. Cup policy. It's hey,
Yeah.
when we inscript with the UCI, we follow their rules. Where Sunday, I think, is much more enjoyable. And so, yeah, I'm always trying to encourage the kids. But and that'll be so this is round 1 of the USXC Open, like we talked about. So Sunday is the 13, 14, 15, 16 series classes too for the Cat 1. So yeah, we got a lot of good racing. 3 days of solid racing.
Before we wrap this one up, for people that don't know, but like there is a point system and stuff like that for doing all the rounds, and that's a part of the series. Ty is series manager, I guess we could call it. You don't own like all the rounds like back in the day of outdoor motocross type thing, but this is a group of promoters with Ty having a lot of the rounds, 2 of the rounds, sorry. And getting stuff off the ground with that. Maybe talk a little bit about the points and like, what people, if they are trying to race all of them, and, some advantages getting that and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the series, you're right. I don't own it. I'd say I'm maybe the captain of the ship, right? And on this. So yeah, the point system and all the rules are posted over at the uscupmtb.com website. But so for elites and U23s, it's the best 5 of 6 rounds. So you get to drop around if you have a bad race. But you gotta, if you even want to be in the points hunt, it's a minimum 4 of 6, right? So you gotta, we're not going to pay someone to show up for 2 rounds, win it, and then never show up at the finals. For the kids, because we know they can't travel as much, it's the best 4 out of 6. So technically they could drop 2, or they only have to go, 4 will count. And then the minimum for them to be in the hunt is 3 out of the 6 rounds. And again, same thing. If you can't make 3 out of 6 rounds, in our mind, then that's not a series and we're not crowning champions. So you got to figure out some rounds you can make it to. But I mean, we got a good spread with Arkansas, let's call that the South, if you want to call that, whatever. You got Inglewood, which we'll call like North, up there in the Minnesota, Wisconsin area. You got the Rockies with Sean over at Missoula. You've got Pacific Northwest, which there hasn't been a USAC race in the Pacific Northwest since 97, since USAC and Obra had that big breakup. So, and then you've got the series final down in Park City or Herbert or whatever that is, in Utah. So, I mean, it's pretty well. I mean, we don't have an East Coast representative, but there's just not a lot of promoters out there at a high level wanting to step up. So we think it's a pretty fair series.
Yeah. All right. I love it. Cool, you guys. You can check everything out. We'll be on Insider MTB. It'll be on the YouTube page right now. There's the 3 events. You can go just subscribe and you basically get notified. And once you've subscribed to the channel, you'll be notified when the stream goes live. And then I'll also try to get them up on your website, Ty, also insidermtb.com, and we'll try to get them out on Instagram. And yeah, just come check us out. And we wanted to give you a little bit of a preview. And everything like that. Hopefully after the race, we're going to have some of the winners on of the men and the women's elite chess, and maybe a U23 if we can. You
Yep.
back on, Ty, and let's we'll dig into it. But yeah, any final words? How about you kind of thank all the people that are supporting you in the series and this race?
Yeah, no. I'd really like to thank Orange Seal for stepping up and coming up with the series money. They're obviously title sponsor of the Orange Seal Pro Cup at Vail, but John went into the coffers and pulled us out another solid to help fund some of the series. And Violich Farms, Julia Violich has been huge too to bring back Vail, and so those are really my two premier. But ESI grips, HT pedals. Athlos has been providing winners jerseys for years now. So Dave over at Athlos is huge. Like it takes a village, and we got some good people. We've lost a few people over the years just because budget constraints and stuff, and we hope they want to come back especially after they see this live stream and see how rad this course is and all the talent that's showing up. But yeah, no, really, Orange Seal and Violich Farms have been huge. So huge shout out to them for keeping this thing alive.
Sweet. All right, you guys. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.